Excuse me. Okay, much better. I need to prep some of that crap. Hmm. I think I would do want a golden border, so I have to do a fine brush black on it. What's up, Coyote? It's going alright. I'm being a little lazy. I need to get the guys done, but I ran out of what do you call it? A container. Actually, I have a container. Hold on, I gotta grab that container and mix the snow effect so I can put it on their base and then be technically done with these guys. Hey Gecko9, sorry about that. Your somehow your message got hidden by the first time chat people. Sorry about that, I didn't see your message there. So I hold on, I've been wanting to use the rest of this. I don't like the way it looks. Actually, I don't have the other one with me. It looks like this, which looks okay. It's not really, man, you can't really see that. It's super bright. There you go. You can kind of see it there. Maybe if I don't know how I can shade it. It looks okay. Not great looking snow. It looks normal snow, I guess. But the snow that I make is a lot better. I just don't. Let me grab that other container real quick. I don't know if I can make it. This container is a little too small to contain the power of that snow. So I had this empty one for that purpose. Well, I'm waiting to let that just dry, even though it's technically dry by now. Let me try making a little bit. So this is a spatula they used to mix it in, and it's all kind of hard, like really rock hard here. Ugh. So like really, if I try to crush it, it's not really getting crushed. I don't know if I can really mix it up in here very well. That's kind of the problem. I'm hoping this can keep it kind of moist for a long time so it doesn't dry out so quickly. I used to have it right here too. I don't know. Maybe if I had water, I can clear out this container and reuse it. Because I make a lot of it. I guess I'm trying to kind of. I should try that. I should definitely. The container. Fancy. But maybe if I add water to that, maybe that'll soften it up a bit and I can remove it and reuse this container. Because I do make quite a bit. And I want to make sure I have enough. I don't know if this small container can do it. It might be a little bit too small, and I have to keep adding and removing and add. Well, I have to keep adding and adding and adding because either I need more Mod Podge or I need more baking soda. Let's see. Hopefully the Mod Podge ain't like completely dead. Oh my gosh, I think the seal resealed itself. Okay, good. Mod Podge is still good. Oh, it stinks though. Whew. Now the baking soda. I know that's good. Hopefully I have the scooper. Nice. So I'm gonna try to make like cocaine in the stream right now. Get this white powder in here. Shush, guys. Don't tell anyone. Gotta measure out this. Oh! Oof, oof, oof. See that white powder right there? Good lord. I think I need to crush that. There we go. Good enough for right now. Great value baking soda. Let's see. Is Mod Podge the same as Elmer's glue? They say it's very similar to Elmer's glue, but I forget. They say Mod Podge is just a little bit better for this kind of thing. I forget what was the comparison and the reasoning behind it. You'll have to definitely look that up. But they say Mod Podge is just a little bit better than Elmer's glue. Whew. Good lord. Uh-oh. Make sure this don't spill outside the container here. Adding more white stuff to the white stuff. Let's try this. You can always add more. Oh god, it's really stinky. Okay, yeah, too much Mod Podge right now. It's too liquidy, I think. Way too liquidy. So I need to add more baking soda. And this is kind of how it goes. You're just like mixing it until it feels about right. Gotta get the white powder stuff now. Just trying to find out right mixture. I don't know. They have like whenever I watch tutorials, they have like a ratio. I was like, nah, I figure it out. Still trying to figure it out, but you know, it worked out. You know, I like the ones that I made thus far. Looking pretty good. I hope that's a good enough of a mixture. Let's give it a test. We'll give it to this guy here. And I'll grab one of my things that I bought so I can scoop it up with. Tends to stick to the tool quite a bit sometimes. But I like the snow a lot better. It looks like wild snow as opposed to like, does that stick to the base well when it dries? Yeah, it does, Gecko. I have some on like my first initial try of this on my models. As a matter of fact, there's one model that I need to grab because I am... Where the hell did he go? He has it on his base, and I'm just gluing what you call it, a magnet on his bottom because the magnet fell off. It must be the old way I used to do the magnets on the bottom. But yes, once it's on there, it's on there pretty good. Now, it will come off if you're rough with it, of course. It kind of sticks to the... Sometimes you can make little tracks there if you want, but I want it mostly snow though, so kind of push it down a little bit compared to the rest. And then even some get on his feet and stuff because, you know, he's playing in the snow, like all Space Marines do. Once I finish this guy, I'll go grab the other model that has had it for quite some time. Put it over his feet because his feet dug in. It will stick. There we go. There we go. And that looks so much better than this. I think I'm going to darken it up a little bit. Hold on. Or if I turn up the light, let's see what happens. Looks garbage. It looks garbage. Let me definitely darken up the thing real quick. Settings, webcam, settings, control. There we go. So when you look at these two snows, this looks so much better in my opinion than this one, just because it looks like, if you look at the top, it looks like this looks more like real snow than this one, in my opinion. It looks more alive. The other one looks like it's flat and dead. Alright, I'll be right back. Gonna try to grab that other model anyway. Where the hell did I put him at though? But you will still be coming with me. There he is. Alright. So, see that little, there's this guy. And this is kind of hard, but it's not crumbling off even the little tiny peaks right there. Try to scrape that off. Try to get all that extra thing out. But it holds up pretty good. The only reason why I don't have him on base because the magnet fell off. But yeah. My captain here. Let's see, focus. There we go. Very shiny too, like the rest of them. Need to even that out, but that's okay. Weather effects. Power fist. It's kind of so weird because he's so mostly even in those darker areas, but it's not quite like that. But anyways, yeah. So this is the one that's been dry for a long time, and it does stay. You can see a little pokey thing right there, and this corner right here. It will break off, yes, but it stays pretty strong on there. Honestly, I couldn't tell you what I compare it to, like in terms of strength, because not sure what I can compare it to. I do want to paint the rims white, Coyote, just to make it all match, you know. But I do base coat them white, so the base is white itself. But it needs to be whiter for sure. Let me see. Let me make sure that this is the right focus length. Oh. There we go. So he's done. I do like the way that turned out. Kind of hate when they don't stay where I want them to stay. Sometimes they just stick to the tool like they are doing right now. Hard to get the effect that I like, where it looks like the cape's been scraping on the snow. But I guess there's ways to do it, and I don't know what that is. Probably like tapping it. So with this, my Ultramarines is the first time I've done more advanced basing than just like, whoop. This is what's basing in the past. A little bit of brown and then a little bit of grass, and that's it. Boom, base. Now I'm doing the entire base with snow, which is still very basic, very simple to do, and I like it. It makes me think of when Ultramarines were fighting the Nids for the first time, and the first company up in the Northern Pole. Whoop. And how they all got wiped out. The first company. But they were all fighting in the snow. And also, actually, there's a very nice painting of an Ultramarine reloading in the snow, which was really cool. There we go. Definitely have to paint that part because there's a little bit of red there. But let me... There we go. It's a little bit harder now. I can probably pat it down to make it look like... There we go. Like so. There you go. You can kind of see like there's a little of a scoop there from the heavy crotch cape. And then the dragging up the legs a little bit right there. And maybe a little bit right there. You can kind of see that a little bit. Whoops. Hard to depth perception looking at the camera there. There we go. And then all kind of just messy there. Unkempt snow. There we go. Perfect. Gotta let that dry. So the next step up basing that I want to do is going to be with my Tau, and I did buy some rice stuff, like wheat kind of flour. So obviously Tau is Asian inspired, so I want to do kind of like rice fields a little bit, or at least fields in general. It's kind of like the image you get from Tau, like fields of stuff. So I do want to do that. So it's going to be a little bit more complicated than, say, snow, because it's grass and wheat and whatever else. And then the next thing I want to do, good lord, I am sticking to the tool, is I don't have a chaos faction. So the chaos faction I want is going to be knights. And with knight, I want to do rust. I want to do moss. I want to make it look like these knights has been sitting in like a swamp for a long time, and their armor's all rusty. So you'll see the rust color, and you'll see like moss overgrown on them. So I'll have to buy that. I can't paint that on there. So, and I'll do like maybe a little bit of watery effects and stuff. But that's what I wanted. That's a bit more challenging, I suppose. You know, at least it's more challenging than just putting, you know, Mod Podge and baking soda, the white stuff on models. And perhaps a little bit more complicated than wheat on fields, because I'm just going to put wheat and brown to fields. some of that shield a little bit. Maybe. If I can't. Screw you, shield. You don't get something. Fine. There we go. Gonna cover up the toes because it's digging into the sand. And I'm assuming, like, you know, when you do this with like sand and stuff, it's gonna be very similar. Again, they're not fighting in a snowy condition, it's just snow on the ground. So I wouldn't be too sure how snow affects armor. Some people say that snow would never stick to armor because the armor could be hot. And then, you know, obviously if it snows really heavily, it could pile up enough to actually kind of cover the armor. At least in a like a snapshot type of scenario where like you dove in freaking snow and got covered in snow, he's gonna be covered in snow, at least for a little bit, until the armor can melt it off. So kind of heavy snow here. Sure, okay. It's very crumbly. What's up, Shaman? That's right, 22. Trying to finish up my Spear Guard veterans over here. Oh, shit. Yes, they are Ultramarines. Oh god, I forgot to paint that gold. Wow. That's a failure on my part. How did I miss that? Thought I got all of them. The 13 on the back is not gold. Well, good thing they're not technically done anyway, so... There we go. Oh. Oh. Maybe a little bit too much there. So the white that I'm doing on this base is a mixture between Mod Podge, a type of glue, and baking soda. And when you have to kind of go with the feel of it. You know, I couldn't give you a precise measurement of like how much Mod Podge and how much baking soda. So you kind of just have to mix it until it looks about right. You don't want it liquidy. You want it mostly like crumbly, like, I guess that's a good way to put it. There are people out there who, you know, YouTube channels that will tell you a good ratio, but still, you know. There are different kind of Mod Podge type of glue too. Some people add white to this, like the color white, just a, you know, a white color to make it more white, or blue, a little bit of a blue hint to make it more realistic, they say. Oop. Because they say snow has like a bluish tint to it. Maybe so. I forgot to add that, or add white to make it whiter, but I think it's white enough as it is already. Alright. Yeah, the inspiration was from, I remember seeing an image of Ultramarine reloading in snow, and also the first company, when they fought the Nids, fought on the, I believe, the northern ice caps of Ultramar. So, kind of the inspiration there. Plus, it's also a very simple basing to do initially. It's not something complicated, something that looks nice and still counts as basing for your army. I'm gonna step it up with my towel. I'm gonna do like wheat fields. I hope I have enough of the wheat stuff that I bought. The blood on the snow, yeah. Nah, I don't. I was thinking that, honestly, I was thinking about that some time ago, but it's like, nah, just keep it simple. I'm gonna keep this very simple for now. I'm gonna keep most of the basing simple. Maybe if there's like a fight scene, maybe, and I decide to do it that way. Gilliman was the closest. He had like a what do you call it? A Chaos Undivided Space Marine on his base, but I wasn't gonna do it. First time getting it, like, that's what kind of got me back into 40K. That and finding out that people played on a day that I'm actually off. I don't know how Tigers is gonna look with the snowy base, but we're gonna do it. He kind of playing Jane, but that's okay. Uh-oh, good lord, it's crumbling. My desk is a mess. My desk is a mess from all this crumbling snow. Oh, good lord, I'm doing out of So this snowy terrain is a mixture between baking soda and Mod Podge. Mod Podge is a glue. Fudge. Fudge and baking soda. What is the figure with the battle axe? This one right here? It's the Leviathan Librarian. but I didn't like the head, so I replaced the head with a 3D printed Terminator head, and but outside of that, I kept everything else the same. I need to put freaking snow in him too. So it's the librarian. I'm just letting him dry up because his book was kind of being painted on. Or do you mean this guy over here? Unpainted one? Oh, okay, I see. Hold on. That is, I think an honor guard. Talking about this one, huh? This is an old school honor guard. I believe it's an honor guard. It's a pewter model. Even has the chains for one of his things. Has the little reef on the helmet. I want to convert him to be my Calgar's Victrix guard, because I don't have the current Calgar. I have the Terminator Calgar, the one that he's wearing Terminator armor instead of the Gravis armor. And he didn't come with a Victrix guard. He just came by himself, and it's all pewter too. And he skipped leg day because his legs are tiny by comparison to the rest of his body. So it's kind of like Tigers here has a massive base, and he's the old model, and he has freaking a lot of snow to put on him to make it look nice. Just a big base of. There we go. Now let me make it look like he's actually walked on this thing. There we go. Go. I think that's good enough. I'm gonna have to vacuum my desk with all this crap. Why you're blue? Wigglefish. Great question, Wigglefish. And you're absolutely right. It's super blue. So I'm a cheap guy, like super cheap. So I go to Michael's and had a 40% off coupon and bought this, which is normally 15 bucks, but now is well, 40% off that. Plus it has a lot more paint than like Citadel paint, or even hold on, or even like your Vallejo paint. So Vallejo, you know, you get like how much you get in this one? So you get 17 milliliters for like $5, and you get 59 for 15. But with 40% off, it's a lot cheaper. But this is artist paint, so it's not necessarily model paint. I've suffered for it, but at the same time, you know, and mind you, this is with matte varnish. You're right, Wigglefish, absolutely. That's why I didn't go Citadel paint or most hobby paints. They are kind of expensive. But I will say this. I probably won't be buying acrylic gouache from Liquitex anymore. I would probably be buying Liquitex, but basic acrylic. This does as good of a job. This one, $5 versus this one. So 59 milliliters versus 110. This is $5. This is $15. So, and the paint is just as good. It has great coverage in my opinion. Now, of course, you're going to be struggling with like white and yellow, And you're gonna have to learn how to paint with these paint too. It's maybe a little bit different from hobby paint. I'm not too sure. I'm not a paint expert, but yeah. So and I'm trying to see if there's a model that's not been base coated. So this is essentially what the blue looks like on varnish, and this is the same blue but varnish. So you can see how it's ultra glossy. And mind you, I don't know if, well, you can see it on the Terminator a lot better. So let me get the zoom in a little bit better. So okay. So a lot of people do edge highlighting, and I don't do any edge highlighting, but you can kind of see what looks like edge highlight. No, I did not dry brush or edge highlight it at all. And mind you, it's not the gloss that's showing what looks like edge highlighting. Right here, you can see it on a butt plate. You can see it almost all over the place. I don't know if I can really get it close. And there we go. Oh, there we go. Damn, that looks. So, yeah, the blue makes it stand out very good too. So you can kind of see like what looks like edge highlighting, especially in the fingers over here. But I did no edge highlighting, and you can see it on the like a little bit on the pad there. And this model really shows it very well. But I think I'm a little bit past the light, so it's kind of hard to see. If I back out a little bit, you can kind of see because I have the ring light right below the camera. So yeah. So no, I don't do edge highlighting, but it does have an edge highlight effect. You can see it on this guy too. If it doesn't shine or glisten. You can see it on the backpack pretty well, on the butt and then the bottom plates. And you see it on the arms. But yeah, no. Yeah, I don't do edge highlighting, I'm lazy. So this person, well, this actually is the color, so no edge highlighting here. This is the second coat of paint that I added to him. So you can kind of see how it looks like before. Yeah, yeah, dude, that is here. That is this matte varnish. It doesn't look like matte varnish. It looks like gloss varnish on there. But I don't know what to do. So I'm just going with it. So here's what it looks like when it's not varnish. So what varnish does, it protects the paint. It's like a clear coat over the paint. So if you touch your models a lot, your oils and stuff will rub off some of the paint that you have. What varnish does, it protects that from protects oils. It's kind of like the clear coat in your car. It's like sunscreen for your skin, kind of. But it protects the paint from being rubbed off. Pretty sure it makes the paint stand. Yes, it prevents your oils from getting on the paint. So this is what it looks like, second coat. And in a sense, mine flakes all the time on the edges. Put some varnish on it, but you may want to look some matte varnish. So this is what, anyways, this is what it looks like when first coating. It looks garbage, but that's how it initially goes. You can see there's edge highlighting going on, even though I didn't edge highlighting. Then the second coating turns out like this. You can see that the edge highlighting is more refined versus this one. First coating, second coating, and then varnish with those guys. So yeah, you can see definitely edge highlighting going on this guy, even though again, like I said, I don't edge highlight. I do if I have to, but most of the time I don't, just because it does it automatically the way I paint. And I'm going 2 banners with this guy, because why not? I put that's an old banner from 3rd, 4th, and 5th edition. Put it on his backpack and and then this is his actual banner. And I'm gonna also put this banner on another banner guy, so they'll have banner in their backpack and banner that they're holding. And I'm gonna run a banner army. But yeah, so yeah, you can kind of see even better in the back. When painting, do you ignore the edge to keep it white? It's not necessarily ignoring the edge. Is I thin the paint and I paint it all over. And then the paint, what it'll do is it'll kind of constrict. So it's still a light blue, not necessarily white. So you see how it pulls up in certain areas, like very deep. Not great job on my part. This is kind of like first iteration of my paint job. Trying to learn how to paint the way I want to paint. So, but you get the point though. You can see how it pulls away from the edges. So it leaves a little bit of paint there to make it slightly white blue. And then it pulls up in areas. You can see it really great there. You can see it great there. And then what I do is I go back and paint over again. This time, not so liquidy paint, a little bit less liquidy, and I paint the major areas. I stay away from the edges as best as possible, and I make sure there's a solid paint in the like the knee pads or the you know, the armor pieces. So that's kind of my paint technique. It was called slap chop a little bit. I don't use contrast paints though, so what I do is I dilute my paint to a certain kind of thinness, and that's what I do. Then you kind of get like I don't know if you can see some edge highlighting on him, on his arm pad there. But yeah, doesn't have a lot of edge highlighting going on. You can see a little bit on his neck, a little bit on his chest. The Fenrir's Wolf. The pigment particles are too big and pull away from the sharp edges. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I do. I thin it down enough to where it just kind of pulls away from the edges. It still lives a little bit there, but not so much. Again, it's a tough thing to do. I'm still trying to prepare myself. I don't know if it's worth the time. Well, to me, it's worth the time for sure. It works. But I don't know if I'm still trying to do other paints with it. So like my towel is going to be purple. So again, you can kind of see with this guy, it kind of did that same effect. Like his pants, like it pulled in like deep recesses, and it pulled away from the higher elevation ones. Not so great in this area here, but you can see in the pants it kind of works pretty nice there. Yeah, and these are like first iterations of my painting technique, or the one I'm trying to perfect in a sense, which is essentially slap chop, but without contrast paints. The cheaper version of slap chop, the Temu version. But anyways. What else? Yeah, so, hold on, where's the, oh, here's the other bottle. So I initially bought this one. It was relatively cheap with 40% off. I think it was like $6 for this. You can cover quite a lot of bases. The problem is I don't like the way it looks. I'll probably have to darken the screen real quick. So this is what that looks like. It looks okay. Trying to get it to where you can see the shadows and stuff. And then when you look at, say, like the one I made, it looks like snow to me. It looks like clumped up snow. And then obviously I shape it to where like maybe where his foot kind of drags a little bit. But the snow of these looks so much better than that one. Because it looks like, to me, like snow. You try to make sure you clump and don't like pat it down too much. so that it looks like it's like messy. And I guess this one looks a little too neat and are all kind of like perfectly shaped. All right, let me turn the lights back on. Oop. Okay. I think this guy, while I still have the snow and it's not completely dry yet, it's like I don't care about that skull down there or that. I'm just gonna cover it anyway because I prefer the snow. It's very crumbly. I think it's getting a little too dry. I don't know if it'll stick or not, but we'll see. Really crumbly. I think this might be a little too dry. I don't know if it'll stick, but we'll give it a shot. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna have to vacuum my desk just of all this white powder. I'm sorry, jeez. A brush with white Selesian dab. I have not heard of those. And when you say you use those, Steel Legion drab, I'm assuming you're calling out GW paint, which I'm not familiar what their colors are. Alright, what kind of terrain is it that you're painting with that? I don't know if it's snow or what. Jeez. Yeah, usually mud for. Ah, okay. Yeah, my next is I have a feeling like you could kind of do the same with this, either with like making this look like sand or maybe even making this look like mud. That's what I was thinking, like sand and mud. I think this could work the same way. You just paint it, of course, brown, and it'd probably look like mud and sand. The next thing that I'm going to try to do after this, because this is very basic, is for my towel, wheat fields and stuff. God, dog. It's very crumbly. It needs a little bit more Mod Podge, but I think I'm done with that for now, because this is the last model. Okay. So I don't want to look too organized per se. There we go. All right, not too bad. It's a little bit more organized snow than the rest of them. Yeah, so in the next, after that one, after my towel, which is going to be wheat fields, I think the more complicated one that I want to try is going to be for my Chaos Knights, because I don't have a Chaos Army yet. And what I'm going to do with Chaos Knights is I'm going to do Swamp, and I'm going to put rust on them and like moss covering them up a little bit. So rust, moss, swamp, that's the kind of theme I'm going with. So that I think is going to be a little more complicated. But again, trying to step up my game a little bit in terms of like doing the basing and stuff. I have Infinity. I don't know what type of basing. I don't think I'm going to do basing on theirs. Killteam, not sure on that one either. But other than that, snow, wheat fields, and swamp. Alright, anyways, I do have to call it. I try to stream Monday to Friday. Again, I try to stream Monday to Friday, starting around 4 to 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to start at 4, but sometimes I start late at 4:30. I try to stream for at least an hour so I can complete my Ultramarines, my Tau, my Killteam, my Infinity, my MCP. I have all those games with all those models, and even just random models that I 3D print as well. So anyways, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up the sound below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.